Okay, Assalamualaikum everyone. So now we go to the new topic, which is hypothesis testing. Basically, this topic is much related to the chapter 3, which is interval estimation or confidence interval. Okay, let's say I take back the previous example on the amount spent per month on food among IUM student. Let's say, okay, in chapter 3, we have the average where we set up from, okay, the average that we obtain from the survey is from 350, okay, to RM 400. This is what we call as confidence interval in chapter 3. And let's say one researcher comes to you and said that I disagree with this average. Suppose that the amount spent on food per month is, okay, more than 400. So this one what we call as a claim, okay, or alternative hypothesis. Something that you want to prove, okay, or to find out, to test, okay, find out or test, okay, to figure out something that researcher want to figure out, the analyst want to figure out, to find out. Okay, this is what we call as a claim. And this claim hypothesis is denoted by H1. And there is statement that must be opposed to this claim, where we call it as null hypothesis, denoted by H0, okay, mu. And this null hypothesis must be contradict to this alternative hypothesis, whereby the sign must be, okay, opposite to this claim, which is, okay, if the alternative is greater, therefore the null must be less equal RM, okay, 400. This is what we call as null hypothesis, which is contradict to the alternative hypothesis, okay, and it must have the sign, okay, contradict to this alternative, and it must have also the equal sign, the equal sign here, okay, as I highlight here. And this null hypothesis is also known as default hypothesis to nullify the claim, to cancel out or to invalidate the claim. So this is what we call as null hypothesis. It's just like a default statement. And in statistics, we cannot simply reject or accept the claim hypothesis without any, okay, significant evidence or any statistical evidence. We need to have the statistical evidence in order to support the claim. And this is what you call as hypothesis testing. And basically, we have three types of hypothesis testing. The first one, what we call as two-tailed test. The second one is right-tailed test. And the last one is left-tailed test. So how you can decide what is the test belong to the hypothesis testing? Okay, you can look into the tips here that I put in this green color. Okay, tips to decide the hypothesis testing, the type, okay, you need to refer to the sign of alternative hypothesis, which is H1. Okay, so here, okay, let's take a look in the table here. H0 is the null, okay, and H1 is, okay, claim or alternative hypothesis. So look at the H1 here. Okay, for two-tailed test, how we know that it is two-tailed test? Okay, look at the alternative sign here. It is not equal, right? So not equal, it means that it can be greater or lesser. So that's why we call it as two-tailed test. We look at the alternative hypothesis. Same goes to the right-tailed test. How do you know it is right-tailed test? Look at the alternative hypothesis, which is greater. So greater means that right-tailed test. What about left-tailed test? Okay, it must be less than. So look at the alternative hypothesis as I given here the tips. Okay, you look at the sign of alternative hypothesis or H1. And sometimes some book use the alternative hypothesis, the symbol as HA. Okay, give you the same meaning. And I want you to take note that only null hypothesis, okay, should have equal sign. Okay, equal sign. Whereas the alternative hypothesis, okay, the alternative hypothesis shouldn't have this equal sign. As you can see here, for two-tailed task, okay, I highlight here. Okay, for two-tailed task, only null can have the equal sign. Right-tailed task, when it is less for null, it must, okay, associate also with this equal sign. Same goes to left-tailed task. As you can see here, the null is greater, right? So it must also have equal sign. But for alternative testing or alternative hypothesis, it shouldn't have the equal sign. So you have to take note this. Okay, before we go to the detail how to solve the hypothesis testing problem, okay, let's learn how to write the claim hypothesis and the null hypothesis. Okay, let's look example 1 here. A chemist invents an additive to increase the life of an automobile battery. Definitely, this one is a claim. This is something that researcher want to test or figure out. He believes that if an additive is added into the automobile battery, the lifetime of the battery will be increased. So this the claim lah, definitely. And there's a keyword that you can find for the claim. To increase means that greater. Okay, there's a keyword here. Okay, we proceed. If the mean lifetime of the automobile battery without additive is 36 months, means that this normal lifetime lah, the average normal lifetime of the battery. Then the hypotheses are, so we already have the claim here. So let's write the claim first. So H1, okay, mu, we talk about the mean, right? Okay, mean greater than to increase 36 months. Okay, so this one what we call as claim hypothesis or alternative hypothesis. Therefore, the null hypothesis must be opposed to it, which is mu less equal. Okay, it must have the contradict or opposed symbol, which is less equal 36 months. Right, this one what we call as null hypothesis. Okay, sorry, I forgot to put H here. Okay, and what type of test is this? Okay, we look at the alternative hypothesis sign, which is greater. Therefore, this one is right tail test. So let's draw. Okay, so this one is right tail test. And I forgot to mention to you that in hypothesis testing, we are interested to find the hypothesis about the population, okay, population mean or average, which is mu, okay, not the sample mean. In hypothesis, we are interested to deal with the population mean, which is mu. Okay, so let's take a look at example 2 here. A contractor wishes to lower electricity bills by using a special type of appliance in houses. So this contractor want to test, okay, to lower the electricity bill by using special type of appliances. So to lower here means that less lah. Therefore, this one definitely is a claim, something that the persons want to prove, right? So, claim hypothesis. If the average of the monthly electricity bill is 78 ringgit, this one is the average of the bill. His hypothesis about electricity cost with the use of the special appliance are, so we start with the claim, okay? H1, mu, okay, to lower, okay, less than RM 78 ringgit. This one what we call as alternative hypothesis or claim hypothesis. Therefore, the null hypothesis must be opposed to it, which is mu greater equal Rm 78 ringgit. This one what you call as null hypothesis. The statement that invalidate the claim. Okay, so based on the alternative hypothesis here, okay, we look at the symbol. Okay, we know that this test is left tail test. So this is the area. And let's take a look at example 3 here. A medical researcher is interested in finding out whether a new medication will have any undesirable side effects. The researcher is particularly concerned with the pass rate of the patient who take the medication. So basically this researcher want to find out the effect of taking medication, and it is concerned with the pass rate after taking the medication. So the researcher knows that the mean pass rate for the population under study is 82 beats per minute. So this one is the normal average of pass rate, mean pass rate, okay, is 82 beats per minute. Will the pass rate increase, decrease, or remain unchanged after a patient takes the medication? Therefore, okay, the claim here, okay, because it states that will the pass rate increase, decrease, or remain unchanged. This is something that, okay, the researcher not sure. Yeah, so this is not equal. It can be slightly lower, slightly greater, right? It can be slightly lower, slightly greater. Therefore, it is not equal. So the claim will be H1 mu not equal, okay, 82 beats per minute. This one what we call as, okay, claim hypothesis. He doesn't sure whether it will be remain or increase or decrease. Therefore, okay, will be, okay, the sign will be not equal lah. So H naught opposed to it, which is mu, equal 82 beats per minute. So this is what we call as null. And based on the symbol on the alternative test here, okay, alternative hypothesis, we know that this one is two-tailed test. Okay, I think that's all how to write the null and alternative hypothesis.